All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about solving for a unknown and transforming an equation so that we have a different variable that has been isolated. And these two problems are a little bit trickier because we are trying to solve for an unknown that occurs in multiple places in our equations. So this is going to be a little bit tougher than normal, but I think you're going to manage it. We're going to have to use the distributive property in order for us to factor to make it so that we can solve the problem. So that's a little foreshadowing of what we're going to do. So let's take a look at 25. We'll take a look at problem number 27, and we should be good to go after these two. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do in 25 is we are going to distribute this 180. So we have A is equal to 180 n, because 180 times n is 180 n, minus 360, because 2 times 360, 2 times 180 is 360, and this is still over n. Now, I don't love having the variable I'm trying to isolate, n in this case, in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply both sides by n. And that is going to get me a times n, which is equal to, well, n divided by n is 1. So we have 180 n minus 360. So then we need to get the n's together on one side of the equal sign so that we will be able to use the distributive property, which means I'm going to have to give myself a little extra room. So I'm going to subtract 180n from this side, from the right side, and what I do to one side I have to do on the other, 180n. And so I end up with an minus 180n is equal to negative 360. So notice how we have an and negative 180n on the same side of the equal sign. Well, that's really helpful because this is going to allow us to factor out the n. So n is part of both of these, so that's the same thing as saying n times a and n times negative 180. So notice how n times a is an, n times negative 180 is negative 180n. All right. That still equals 360. So what's the opposite of multiplying n by a minus 180? Dividing by a minus 180. So I'll divide both sides by a minus 180. Divide by a. I'll make that look better. And I will get, well, a minus 180 divided by a minus 180 is 1, so it gives me n, and we still have the negative 360 over a minus 180. And so what are my restrictions? Well, I can't have 0 in the denominator, and so a minus 180 cannot equal 0. So I know that if a is equal to 180, that would give me 0. So a cannot equal 180. For problem number 27, same basic idea. We have a's. We're trying to get the a by itself. So I'm going to rewrite the expression. So we have an n. We don't want an n. We want an r is equal to ab over a plus b. Well, I don't really love having the a in the denominator, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. I'm going to multiply everything by a plus b so that I don't have any denominators to deal with right now. So multiply by a plus b, and that is over 1, of course. Multiply by a plus b, and so let's go ahead and distribute this. And so I will end up getting AR plus BR is equal to, well, A plus B divided by A plus B is 1, so we get AB. All right. So now, again, we're trying to get the A by itself, so we need the A's on one side of the equal sign, even though I can't combine them. So the opposite of positive AR is negative AR, so I'm going to subtract AR. And again, I can't combine AB and AR because B and R are not the same thing. So these cancel out, and I will get BR is equal to AB minus AR. All right, so now we have A's in two places on the right side. Well, this is super helpful because we have A times B and we also have A times R, which means that I can write this by saying BR is equal to A times B and A times R, by putting B and negative R in the parentheses, because A times B is AB, A times negative R is negative AR. All right, so now I've gotten that A into one place, so now the opposite of multiplying by B minus R is dividing by B minus R, dividing by B minus R, and so I get BR over B minus R is equal to, all these cancel out, and we get A. Now the restriction here is we know that B minus R cannot equal 0. Or in other words, B cannot equal R, because if they're the same thing, then we'll just get 0. So here is our final answer.